The Kind Girl and the Big Surprise. Every morning, in front of a school, a little girl with black hair would walk past an old man sitting on the sidewalk. He looked very poor and tired, and he never seemed to have enough food. His clothes were old, and his shoes were falling apart. One morning, the girl noticed that the old man was looking hungry. She felt sorry for him, so she went to the corner store and bought a sandwich. She walked back to the old man and smiled at him. "Here, mister," she said, "I brought you some food." The old man looked surprised. "Thank you, little one," he said, his voice soft and shaky. He took the sandwich, and his face brightened with a small smile. "You are very kind." The girl smiled back and then hurried off to school, but she couldn't stop thinking about the old man all day. The next morning, as she walked to school again, she was amazed to see a shiny red bicycle waiting for her on the sidewalk. There was a note attached to it. The note read, "For the kind girl who shares with others. From someone who wants to thank you." The girl couldn't believe her eyes. She looked around but didn't see anyone. It was as if the bike had appeared out of nowhere. She realized that the old man, who she had helped yesterday, must have been the one who gave it to her. The girl took the bike and rode it to school, feeling very happy. She didn't know how the old man had been able to do it, but she knew that good things happened when you were kind to others. From that day on, every time she saw the old man, she would stop to say hello. And every morning, she would help anyone she saw who needed it, because she learned that kindness always comes back in unexpected ways. The next few days were full of surprises for the little girl. Every time she passed the old man, she noticed small changes. The old man seemed to smile more often, and he always gave her a grateful look. She felt proud of herself for helping him, but little did she know, something bigger was about to happen. One morning, as she was riding her shiny red bike to school, she noticed something different. The old man wasn't sitting in his usual spot. Instead, there was a small crowd of people gathered around, whispering and pointing at something. Curiosity filled the girl's heart, and she slowly rode closer to see what was happening. When she got closer, she saw the old man standing in the middle of the crowd, but he wasn't the same as before. He looked younger, healthier, and his clothes were no longer old and torn. His eyes were bright, and he had a big smile on his face. The crowd was amazed. "What happened to you?" one person asked. The old man chuckled and said, "I've been given a second chance, thanks to a kind little girl." The girl felt a flutter of excitement in her chest. She had no idea what he meant, but she was happy to see him looking so well. She stopped her bike and walked over to him. "Mister, is everything okay?" The old man nodded. "Yes, my dear. You see, I wasn't just an old man sitting on the sidewalk. I am someone who was sent to test people's kindness. I needed help, and when you gave me food, it touched my heart. Because of your kindness, I was granted a gift." The girl's eyes grew wide. "A gift? What do you mean?" The old man smiled warmly and said, "I'm not really an old man at all. I was sent to you by God as a way to show that kindness is powerful. When you helped me, you proved that good things can happen when we care for others." Before the girl could say anything else, the old man gave her a small, shiny coin. "Take this, my dear," he said. "This is a symbol of the good you've done. Remember, kindness always comes back in ways you can't imagine." The girl felt a warm feeling inside as she took the coin. She didn't fully understand what had just happened, but she knew that her actions had made a difference. From that day forward, the girl made it her mission to help others, just like she helped the old man. And while she never saw him again, she kept the shiny coin with her as a reminder that kindness, no matter how small, could change the world. Little did she know, her journey was just beginning. The more she helped others, the more surprises life had in store for her. And one day, when she least expected it, she would face another challenge that would test her kindness in ways she couldn't even imagine. As the weeks passed, the girl, whose name was Lily, became known as the kindest person in her town. She would help anyone in need, whether it was an elderly neighbor who needed groceries, a classmate who was feeling lonely, or even a stray dog she found in the park. Every time she helped someone, she felt that warm feeling inside her heart, like the little shiny coin she kept in her pocket was glowing. One afternoon, after school, Lily was walking through the park when she noticed something strange. A group of children were gathered around something on the ground. They were pointing and whispering to each other, looking both excited and a little scared. Lily, being curious, walked closer. As she did, she saw what they were all looking at, a small, glowing stone lying on the ground. It wasn't like any stone Lily had ever seen before. It shimmered with different colors, like a rainbow. "What is that?" she asked one of the children. "I don't know," the child replied, wide-eyed. "But it looks magical." Lily bent down to pick up the stone, and as soon as her fingers touched it, a strange warmth spread through her hand, up her arm, and into her chest. The stone felt alive, like it had its own heartbeat. Where did this come from? Lily wondered aloud. The stone seemed to answer her question without words. It felt like it had been waiting for her. The children were all staring at her, but Lily didn't feel afraid. She could sense that this stone was somehow connected to her kindness, just like the shiny coin the old man had given her. "What should I do with it?" she asked herself quietly, as if the stone might somehow reply. To her surprise, it did. The stone gave off a soft, glowing light, and a voice, gentle and kind, but mysterious, whispered in her ear. "You are ready, Lily. You have the heart to make a big difference. It's time for you to help in ways you can't imagine." Lily's heart skipped a beat. The voice was soft, almost like the wind, but she could hear it clearly in her mind. She looked around, but the children hadn't heard anything. "Help? How can I help more than I already do?" Lily thought, feeling a little confused but also excited. Suddenly, the stone grew warm again, and it seemed to pulse with light. As Lily held it, she noticed something strange happening. The ground beneath her feet began to shake slightly, and the trees in the park started to rustle, as though a breeze had swept through. Without warning, a small whirlwind of light and leaves rose from the stone, swirling around her. Lily gasped as the world around her seemed to blur. The next thing she knew, she was no longer in the park. She was standing in the middle of a strange, glowing forest, surrounded by trees that shimmered with golden leaves. "Where am I?" Lily whispered, feeling both scared and amazed. A voice, gentle and soft, answered from the trees. "You are in the forest of possibilities. This is where all paths of kindness lead." Lily turned in all directions, trying to figure out who was speaking, but there was no one there. The trees seemed to be alive, whispering to her, urging her forward. The glowing stone in her hand pulsed once more, and the voice spoke again. "The path you choose here will shape the future. Use your heart, Lily. Choose wisely." Lily felt a mix of fear and excitement. She had always believed in kindness, but she had no idea that it would lead her to a magical place like this. What was she supposed to do now? What did it mean to choose wisely? As she stood there, trying to understand, the trees began to move, creating a path before her. The light from the stone flickered, as though showing her the way. Lily took a deep breath, feeling the warmth of the stone in her hand. She had always trusted her heart. It had led her to help the old man, to spread kindness wherever she went, and now it was leading her to this magical place. With a quiet whisper, she made her decision. "I'll follow the path of kindness," she said softly, "wherever it leads." And as soon as she spoke those words, the ground beneath her feet shimmered and the trees parted, revealing a new world, one filled with endless possibilities and challenges. The adventure of a lifetime had just begun for Lily, and with every step she took, she would learn that sometimes the greatest surprises come when you least expect them. As Lily stepped forward into the glowing forest, the world around her seemed to come alive in ways she couldn't have imagined. The air was thick with magic, and she felt an electric excitement rushing through her. The path ahead of her was clear, bathed in soft light, but the deeper she walked, the more she noticed strange and wondrous things. Flowers that bloomed in the blink of an eye, trees that seemed to bend and bow as if they were greeting her, and small creatures that zipped around her feet, glowing like fireflies. But then, as she turned a bend in the path, she heard a rustling noise. It wasn't the gentle wind in the trees this time, but someone moving through the underbrush. Lily stopped in her tracks, her heart racing. Who, or what, could it be? Out from behind a large mushroom-shaped tree stepped a small creature, no bigger than a rabbit but with long, pointy ears and glowing blue fur. Its eyes were bright and curious, and it sniffed the air around her, as if trying to figure her out. "Hello," the creature squeaked in a voice that sounded like a mix of a bird chirping and a bell ringing. "I'm Sprig. What are you doing here?" Lily blinked, surprised by the little creature's sudden appearance. Um, I'm not sure. I was just walking down this path when well, I guess I ended up here." Sprig's ears twitched, and he bounced up and down excitedly. "Well, you're in the forest of possibilities. You must be someone special, or you wouldn't be here. But I can tell you're confused. Don't worry. It happens to everyone on their first visit." Lily looked around. "I didn't know there was such a place. What is this forest? And what do I do now?" Sprig's eyes sparkled with mischief. "Ah, that's the big question. The forest helps guide people like you." Sprig's eyes sparkled with mischief. "Ah, that's the big question. The forest helps guide people like you, kind-hearted. People who want to make a difference. You see, the forest of possibilities isn't just a place. It's a test." "A test?" Lily asked, her voice filled with curiosity. "What kind of test?" Sprig bounced from one foot to the other. "Well, it's not a test you can fail. It's more like a challenge. You'll have to make choices, and those choices will shape the future, not just for you, but for everyone you meet. If you follow your heart and stay true to kindness, the path will open before you. But if you stray from your purpose, well, it's not always easy." Lily took a deep breath. This sounded a lot more serious than she expected, but she had come this far, and her heart told her she was meant to be here. Before Lily could ask anything more, the forest around them seemed to shift again. A figure stepped out from behind a glowing tree, making the leaves shimmer as they moved. It was another creature, but this one was much larger, about the size of a wolf, with fur as white as snow and wings that looked like they belonged to a giant bird. Its eyes, too, were an unusual color, silver and deep as the night sky. The creature walked gracefully toward them, the ground barely making a sound beneath its paws. "This is Nimbus," Sprig said with a proud tilt of his head. "Nimbus is the guardian of the forest. He watches over all who enter and makes sure they're on the right path." Nimbus dipped his head slightly in greeting to Lily. His voice was deep and calm, like the wind moving through the trees. "Welcome, young one. The forest has been waiting for you. I sense the light in your heart, but the journey ahead is not an easy one. You will meet many others in this forest. Some will help you, others may try to mislead you." Lily looked at the majestic creature in awe. "What do I need to do? How do I know what's right?" Nimbus's silver eyes seemed to pierce through her, as if seeing her soul. "You will know by the choices you make. Trust in your heart, and remember, kindness is your greatest strength. The forest will test that strength. But it is not only about kindness to others. It is also about being kind to yourself and making choices that honor your true self." As Nimbus spoke, Lily's thoughts began to swirl. Kindness to myself, she thought. She had never really considered that before. She always tried to be kind to others, but sometimes she was too hard on herself. Could she learn to be kinder to herself as well? Before she could ask more, a new sound interrupted the moment, a soft giggle, like tinkling bells. From behind a cluster of glowing mushrooms, a tiny, glowing figure appeared. It was a small girl, no taller than Lily's waist, with sparkling wings like a dragonfly. Her hair was a tangle of silver and blue, and she wore a dress made of flower petals. "I see you've met Nimbus and Sprig," she said cheerfully, flying up to hover beside Lily's shoulder. "I'm Tansy. I help people like you find their way when they get lost." Lily smiled, feeling comforted by Tansy's playful energy. "Find my way? But I don't even know where I'm going yet." Tansy laughed, a soft, melodic sound. "That's the fun part. The forest doesn't tell you where to go. It just shows you the way. You'll have to figure it out yourself. The choices you make will lead you to where you're meant to be. And trust me, it's going to be an adventure." Lily felt a little nervous, but also excited. With Sprig, Nimbus, and Tansy around her, she felt like maybe she wasn't so alone after all. These magical creatures all seemed so wise, and yet they had a playful side too. They made her feel that no matter what came next, she could face it. Suddenly, the path ahead of them started to split into three directions. One path was bathed in golden light, the other in a soft, cool blue glow, and the third was darker, with a mysterious mist swirling around it. Each path seemed to have its own pull, each one calling to Lily in a different way. Sprig hopped up and down, excited. This is it. The first choice. Which path will you take, Lily? The golden path is warm and comforting. The blue path is calm and peaceful, but the misty path, well, that one is full of surprises. Lily felt her heart race. How do I choose? Nimbus, who had been watching quietly, spoke softly. Remember what I told you. Kindness is your guide. Choose the path that feels true to who you are, but also think about how each path might help others. The forest is a reflection of your heart. Lily looked at the three paths, each one so different from the others. Her mind raced with questions, but deep down, she knew that whatever path she chose, it was the right one for her. She closed her eyes for a moment, took a deep breath, and let her heart guide her. After a long pause, she opened her eyes and made her decision. I choose the golden path, she said, her voice steady. I want to bring light to others. Sprig cheered. A wise choice. The golden path is the path of warmth, of sharing love and hope. But be careful. It can be tricky sometimes. The light will guide you, but you must stay true to it. Tansy flitted around Lily in excitement. I knew you'd pick the golden path. Let's go. The adventure's just beginning. With that, the group began to walk down the glowing golden path, ready for the journey ahead. But Lily knew that this was only the first step. As they walked, she could feel the pull of the other paths behind her, and she wondered what other choices would come her way in the magical forest of possibilities. The forest was vast, and she was just getting started. As Lily and her new friends continued down the golden path, the air around them began to feel warmer, like the sun on a bright afternoon. The path shimmered with golden light, and she felt her heart lighten with each step she took. Sprig, always full of energy, hopped around her, chattering about all the things they would discover along the way. But the golden path wasn't always easy. As they walked, the light grew brighter and the air warmer. Soon, they came to a beautiful, sparkling river that cut across their path. The water glowed like liquid gold, but the river was wide and fast-moving, and there was no bridge in sight. Oh, now what? Lily asked, looking at the rushing river. Nimbus, who had been walking quietly beside them, stepped forward with his majestic wings spread wide. The path is never without challenges, he said calmly. But remember, true kindness isn't just about helping others when it's easy. It's about finding a way to help when things are hard. A way to help when things are hard. Lily thought for a moment. She could sense that this was a moment where she would need to make a choice that was both kind and wise. Then, she remembered the shiny coin the old man had given her and the lessons she had learned along the way. She understood now that kindness wasn't just about giving food or helping others. It was about making sacrifices and taking risks for the greater good. I'll cross the river, Lily said with determination. She turned to Nimbus and Tansy. Maybe I can find a way to make it safer for everyone to cross. Sprig bounced up to her side. That's the spirit. Let's do it. Lily waded into the river carefully, and with every step, the golden water seemed to part a little more, making space for her to pass. It was still difficult, but her heart felt light, and she knew she was on the right path. The more she moved forward, the more she felt a deep sense of peace settle over her. Soon, she reached the other side, and to her surprise, a bridge of glowing flowers appeared behind her, strong enough for the others to cross. Tansy fluttered across with a grin. See? When you stay kind and true to your heart, the path will always make a way for you. Lily smiled. She felt proud of herself, but she also felt something more, gratitude. She realized that kindness didn't just mean doing good for others. It also meant having the courage to face challenges and trust that doing the right thing would always lead to something good. They continued down the golden path, passing through fields of glowing flowers, meeting more friendly creatures, and helping where they could. Eventually, the path led them to a large, peaceful meadow where the heartstone rested in the center. It was a large, glowing crystal that pulsed with soft light, its glow reflecting all the lessons Lily had learned on her journey. As she approached the heartstone, Lily felt a sense of calm wash over her. She placed her hand on the stone, and in that moment, she realized that the true purpose of her journey wasn't about changing the world with grand acts of kindness. It was about the small, everyday choices she made to be kind to herself, to others, and to the world around her. The golden light from the heartstone surrounded her, and Lily smiled. "I understand now," she whispered. "Kindness is a journey, not a destination. It's about choosing love, even when it's hard." Sprig, Nimbus, and Tansy gathered around her, their faces filled with pride. "You've done it, Lily," Nimbus said softly. "You've completed your journey. But remember, kindness never truly ends. It will continue with you, no matter where you go." With those final words, Lily felt a warm, comforting light wrap around her, and the forest began to fade away, leaving her back on the familiar path in front of her school. The sun was rising, and everything felt as it had before. But Lily was different now. She had learned that every act of kindness, no matter how small, was a step toward making the world a better place. Moral of the story: kindness is not always easy, but it is always worth it. Sometimes, the path to helping others is full of challenges, and we may have to make tough decisions. But when we choose kindness, whether it's to others, ourselves, or the world, we make a difference, even in ways we can't always see. True kindness comes from the heart, and it has the power to change the world, one small act at a time.